Tonight on Closer Look, in what some are calling a controversial move, the town of Newmarket has decided to take down permanent American flags in local arenas in response to recent U.S. trade policies. Newmarket Today reporter Joseph Quigley covered this story and joins us tonight from Newmarket. Joseph, Newmarket joins Barrie, Mississauga, Midland, and others in this move of removing U.S. flags. How did the town get to this conclusion? And maybe, Joseph, walk us through the discussions on both sides that led to this move.
Well, Newmarket has, like all municipalities, been wrestling with what's happening and trying to follow up and respond to U.S. tariffs and the threat of our sovereignty that President Trump has with suggesting a 51st state. Notably, Newmarket had a big Flag Day celebration a few weeks ago, back in February, essentially just kind of rallying some of the national unity and pride here locally. But quite a few people were questioning to local councillors about U.S. flags in arenas. Like other municipalities have also been looking at that issue, and it seemed contradictory to some to be celebrating Canadian pride, to be responding to U.S. tariffs through procurement policy changes, and yet having these American symbols hanging up in our arenas. So because they heard from a lot of local constituents about it, the Newmarket councillors did decide to take on this question of keeping the flags up. There was certainly a lot of grappling from councillors about this question. There was some disagreement, but ultimately council did decide to take down the flags with the caveat that they would still be able to come up whenever American teams are visiting.
All right, let's dig into that for a sec. There were certainly some differing views among councillors, with some advocating unity and others emphasizing the need for some form of action. How contentious, Joseph, was the debate?
So, Newmarket Council is generally a fairly harmonious council. It's rare we see much disagreement amongst council members at the council table. But Newmarket Mayor John Taylor certainly emphasized in this particular debate that differing of opinion is certainly welcome and acceptable, and we certainly saw some of that reflected at this council meeting. We did see one of the councillors, Grace Simon, speak out against taking down the flags, feeling that there are so many people in Newmarket with connections to the U.S. that she would rather focus more on unity. We saw another councillor, Victor Woodhouse, speak out that he would prefer to defer this motion because we don't know exactly how things might play out in the coming weeks and months. Ultimately, most councillors were in favor of taking down the flags, but we saw a little bit of dissent, although it certainly remained civil.
So Mayor Taylor acknowledged that this move is largely symbolic, but in the end it does mean something. Is there any consensus from council or even residents as to whether they think this will move the needle at all in influencing public policy or even cross-border relations?
I certainly haven't seen anybody speak of it from that kind of perspective. Most people seem to be more, I guess, concerned with kind of what this is saying to as Mayor Taylor put it, to ourselves as a conversation we have with ourselves. And in this time where we are trying to perhaps have a bit more national unity, it seems the flags in the arena seemed a bit peculiar, at least to some people. We're certainly seeing a lot more national pride happening with Canadians trying to hang up Canadian flags. We're seeing that locally, supporting the anthem more, that kind of thing. And this feels like kind of growing from that, essentially a kind of another way to showcase pride, even though it involves with perhaps taking down a flag from our sovereign neighbors.
So with the decision, Joseph, to re-raise the flags during American team visits at the arenas, do you think this kind of strikes the balance that council aimed for?
It's certainly a more moderate position perhaps an outright taking them down permanently, which is what I understand most other places that have made this move have done. Numerous councillors expressed that ultimately the kids who come down here are up here rather for hockey events. They have nothing to do with U.S. trade policy, U.S. foreign policy. It's kind of beyond the realm of hockey games. So although perhaps flying the flags on a permanent basis when nothing is even going on was questionable to some councillors even expressed that the policy in general seems weird. Even aside from U.S.'s recent moves. To council and others, it didn't seem to make a lot of sense to keep the flags down when U.S. teams are visiting, and it seemed to most to be, I guess, something that could be a way to be neighborly and good hosts when we do have Americans visiting.
Finally, Joseph, the community, what's the overall reaction been?
Well, leading into this discussion, we did have a not very scientific poll on a website. I also know the deputy mayor put out a poll, and majority support certainly seemed to be quite strongly towards taking the flags down. Now, when we did publish the story, we did quite a few comments of people who seemed to be opposed to the move, as perhaps not unexpectedly, some people reacted negatively to the idea, saying, speaking out about how it's a tradition. We're supposed to be perhaps better than this in a sense. But I suspect, based on what polling and conversation we saw leading into this decision, that most Newmarket residents will be accepting of it, although there will probably be some dissent with people who are against it.
There's reporter Joseph Quigley from Newmarket Today covering the Town of Newmarket's decision to remove permanent U.S. flags in local arenas. That's all for us on this Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow for all of us at Village Media. Thanks for watching.